hunt for the women vote in the 2019 elections. Now, a day after Mamata Banerjee announced 40% tickets for women in her list in Bengal, and 2 days after Naveen Patnaik, the Odisha Chief Minister, claimed that he would be giving 33% tickets to women, Rahul Gandhi has also joined the chorus for greater representation to women. He said at a gathering in Chennai before a women's college that if the Congress comes to power, then within the first session of the new parliament, he will pass the bill for women's reservation. He also promised 33% jobs for women in the central government. So what's all this about? Have politicians suddenly discovered the woman voter in 2019? It's our top focus tonight on The Countdown.
With this, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee threw the challenge to all political parties, daring them to increase women's representation in parliament.
Challenge to all the political parties in India. আগেরবার আমাদের 35% ইলেক্টেড মহিলা মেম্বার ছিল, আর আমরা কিন্তু এবার প্রায় 41% মহিলা এমপি ক্যান্ডিডেট দিচ্ছি, মানে তারা মহিলা এমপি হবে বলে আমি বিশ্বাস করি। 41% প্রায়।
The BJP took a tangentially different route to attack Mamata.
उनके लिए एक और बहुत गर्व का विषय है कि उनके राज्य में वो महिला नेत्री होने के बावजूद उनके राज्य में बातों बातों में सबसे ज़्यादा महिला रेप, सबसे ज़्यादा गणधर्षण, ये सब उनके राज्य में होता है.
But Mamata is not alone. Ahead of the Lok Sabha polls, political parties are now locked in a race to show just how gender sensitive they are. Just 3 days ago, Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik too made a similar promise.
Here I have announced 33% reservation for women in the forthcoming Lok Sabha elections.
And then on Wednesday, it was Congress President Rahul Gandhi's turn.
One of the things that we've decided in 2019, we're going to pass the women's reservation bill in Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabhas, and we're also going to reserve 33% of all government jobs at the national level for women.
India's electoral history shows how one-sided the man-woman ratio has been in parliament. From the first Lok Sabha elections in 1951, where only 4.5% MPs were women, the number has climbed to a meager 12.15% in 2014. In fact, what's even more worrying is, according to a 2019 report by the Association of Democratic Reforms and National Election Watch, there are only 9% women MLAs and MPs across the country in 2019. Whatever their political motives, Mamata Banerjee and Naveen Patnaik have set the ball rolling. So hopefully the 2019 Lok Sabha polls will see the gender gap finally narrowing. Bureau Report, India Today.
And let's listen into Rahul Gandhi for a moment, because he today went and spoke to the prestigious Stella Maris College in Chennai. Listen in to what Rahul Gandhi had to say to the young woman voter.
I don't think women should be second to men in anything. I think women should be at the same level as men in everything. And I look at the Parliament House, I look at the Vidhan Sabhas, I look at the different states, and frankly, I don't see enough women in leadership positions. I don't see them leading enough companies, I don't see them leading enough states, I don't see enough of them in the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha. So one of the things that we've decided in 2019, we're going to pass the women's reservation bill in Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabhas, and we're also going to reserve 33% of all government jobs at the national level for women. That's a starting point. But I think it's an attitude. I think you cannot have women empowered in India unless the attitude towards women changes, and there is a lot that needs to change as far as the attitude towards women goes. And I'm a believer that women should be pushed into places of leadership. I think generally women are smarter than men. That's where I come from.
Women are smarter than men. They should be pushed into leadership position, claims Rahul Gandhi. But will he walk the talk? Let's take a look at what's happened in the past. Women in the Lok Sabha. Now, take a look at from 1951, where there were just 4.5% women in the Lok Sabha, to 12.15%. That's still, well below what the percentage of women in this country, which is almost 50%. Just 12.15% women in parliament at the moment. So less than, just over 50 women MPs in parliament. Will 2019 be any different? If you look across the country, now this is MLAs and MPs across the country, ADR figures. BJP has 150 MPs and MLAs, Congress 91, TMC 44. What does that add up to? Across this country, this large country, barely 9% total percentage of women. This is the stark figure. 9% of our elected representatives are women. Just 9% are women in the country. What about how it should look now in 2014 when it came to women candidates? The BJP had 38, just 38 candidates. The Congress was better, 60. BSP 21, CPI 6, CPM 11, NCP 4. Overall, women at the end of the day are a very minuscule proportion of our representation. Take a look at this. It clearly shows the women in the Lok Sabha, 30 from the BJP, 4 in the Congress, 11 TMC, which has done better than most in giving women tickets, 18 others, adds up to 63. Just 63 women are there in our 543-member 16th Lok Sabha. Will 2019 be any different? That's the question I want to raise. Joining me now, my special guest, Mahua Moitro. She's going to be the candidate of her party from Krishnanagar in Bengal, one of the women who's been given a ticket by Mamata Banerjee. I'm also joined by Tara Krishnaswamy, co-founder of Shakti, a group that's been formed to encourage more women participation in politics. Shaina NC, the spokesperson of the BJP, is joining me from Mumbai. But I want to come to you, Mahua Moitro. How do I understand what Mamata Banerjee did yesterday? What Mamata Banerjee did yesterday, was it a token exercise, or does it mark a dramatic shift in the gender balance in our politics?
Rajdeep, how do you even use the word token exercise? The Women's Resolution Bill was introduced in 2008. It was passed in the Rajya Sabha in 2010. It lapsed in 2014. No other party has done anything. They haven't walked the talk, none of them. The BJP has got full majority. They've passed ordinances on everything from triple talaq to economic reservation. They haven't thought about this. Mamata Banerjee already had 35% women in parliament in 2014. We haven't waited for a reservation bill to tell us what the right thing to do is. How is this tokenism? How do you even use that word? Today we've increased that to 41%. And there's a saying, people think that women get seats that nobody else wants to fight on. Women candidates are given seats where there's less probability of winning. In 2014, every single lady MP who was given a ticket won. And I think the same thing will happen here. So for my seat, for example, it's one of the most hotly sought after seats in South Bengal. It's not that this is just tokenism or anything like that. So I think Mamata Banerjee has walked the talk. What is important is, while we wait for the Women's Reservation Bill to be in Parliament, is that every single party needs to wake up to the fact that they don't need a bill to tell them what to do. There's nothing stopping you. If Narendra Modi can decide on one stroke at midnight without speaking to the finance minister that he will remove 85% of all currency in circulation, and he can decide to strike Pakistan without taking the defense minister into confidence, I do think that he should have the will to decide that he will give more than 30% tickets to women in the BJP and do it. Nothing's stopping them.
I'll come back to you later to ask you why I thought there was an element of tokenism, but you've given a strong response. Shaina NC, at least Mamata Banerjee has walked the talk. What about the BJP? When will your leadership actually walk the talk and give far more representation to women. The Prime Minister keeps talking about women's empowerment, but there isn't enough political empowerment of women in a party like the BJP. You remain heavily male-dominated.
Well, that is the harsh reality, Rajdeep, that across the board, this is a male-dominated space and we are fighting within our parties as well as women across the board through organizations like Tara Shakti, which basically is saying that in India, if you have only 11% representation in parliament and a dismal 9% in assemblies, we need a wake up. And I agree with Mahua that you need to have that wake up within your party. Like the BJP, for example, has 33% reservation in all organizational posts. So women like myself are given the opportunity to be the treasurer, which was probably a male-dominated space earlier. But that is not sufficient. Tokenism is not sufficient. We need to have every party give more women candidates tickets, and the standard argument that, oh, will she have the money power? Will she be in a position to win? Give her a ticket that nobody else wants is not things we're going to accept. Okay. Women of this country need to be viewed as a vote bank. If 50% of your electorate is coming out to vote, we should vote for women candidates across the board, because only then will our issues be taken up seriously. And yes, Rajdeep, there is a hypocrisy in this political space which is so male dominated, and where men are so insecure by nature of not wanting to give up their space for others. I hope that every party, whether it's the Congress that had the opportunity between 2010 to 14 or is giving a promise now, or we who were in power, all of us individually, if we give more representatives an opportunity to fight who happen to be women, I think we would be able to achieve so much more even without a reservation. But the reality is, right now it's a struggle. This is a struggle which I hope the media will take up with all the women politicians of the country.
Tana Krishnaswamy, you're hearing from the politicians. One politician, Mamata Banerjee, has walked the talk. We still await the BJP to walk it. Rahul Gandhi now says he's committed to the women's reservation bill. Is something changing? Do you believe that finally women are being seen possibly as a vote bank to be reached out to?
As a part of an organization that is championing the increase of women MLAs and MPs, bravo to Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee for doing this. You have to remember, Rajdeep, that this is not the first time she's doing this. She already has 33%, 32% MPs in Parliament. So there is absolutely no tokenism when someone is willing to give 40% of the tickets to women. I'll tell you why. That means you have party women that have been groomed for leadership. If you're going to give a seat here and a seat there, you can then argue about whether it's tokenism, whether she's picking losing seats, winning seats, whether it's brother off, sister off, and all that stuff. But here, if someone stands up and says nearly half of all the seats will go to women, 41% of the seats will go to women. Last time, right, she had 11 of her 34 MPs are women, which means it's already 33%, right? So this is the second time she's doing it, and she has almost increased the number of tickets by about, 50%. She's going from 11 to 16, I think. 16 women are going to get tickets. So I think there's no two ways about it. She's really setting the trend. We must also appreciate Mr. Naveen Patnaik for doing the same thing. He's committing to give 33% tickets to women in the Lok Sabha election. Neither of them need the reservation. None of the party presidents need the reservation, and yet only two have committed to doing this. So this is a testament, this is a clear signal to women voters that these two parties are willing to give women space and they care about women in leadership positions in politics. So it's a very clear signal. Why would I vote for someone else? I think the national parties are on the back foot here, and they may talk the talk, but where are they going to walk the walk?
Okay, you know, the interesting thing is the national parties are on the back foot here, because Rahul Gandhi has announced that he will bring in women's reservation bill in the next session of the new parliament, when he could have easily done it when the Congress was in power between 2004 and 14. And I just wonder, Mahua Mitro, that maybe it's easier. It's easier for a regional party to do it, for a Mamata Banerjee to do it, because she's the supremo. No one is going to question Mamata Banerjee. In the BJP and the Congress, if Rahul Gandhi decides tomorrow I'm giving 40% tickets to women, or Narendra Modi decides to do so, there could be a revolt that could brew, because there are lots of dominant male figures at the second at the second level in these parties. You don't have that situation in the Trinamool. To that extent, do you believe regional parties are a better place for a woman to be?
Rajdeep, you're really making me laugh today. You have been a political commentator and one of the most respected news anchors in this country for a long time. Very long time. You are trying to tell me that Mrs. Gandhi, was, as Congress President, wielded any less power than Mamata Banerjee as head of the Trinamool. That if Mrs. Gandhi were to do something, that anyone in the Congress would stand up and say you shouldn't do it. You mean to tell me Narendra Modi, as head of the BJP, as the Prime Minister, today is going to face a rebellion if he does something? He picked Yogi Adityanath and put him as Chief Minister without so much as a consultation. Did he face a rebellion? So I think this is, you're really making me laugh today. I think there is, we have also had regional parties such as the BSP and the AIDMK headed by women. Neither of them have taken steps that Mamata Banerjee has. So let's not, I would say, denigrate Mamata.
I'm not denigrating her.
Let's give
ma'am, I'm making the simple point. I'm making the simple point that national parties.
But it's a strong step in the right direction.
Nobody doubts. Everybody today is lauding Mamata Banerjee's decision. My only question is, in a one-woman show like the Trinamool Congress, let's be clear, there is no parallel power structure there. Even in parties like the BJP and the Congress,
right,
where
so
there may be a Congress president and a Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, who are powerful, but there are other local satraps who may not agree.
Rajdeep, I have been in the Congress. You have covered the Congress party. Can you sit here and tell me, as Congress President, if Sonia Gandhi were to do anything, that somebody would raise a finger? You mean to tell me this? I mean, we are on national television here. I've been in the Congress. You have covered the Congress. You mean to really honestly tell me that Sonia Gandhi as Congress President wields any less power than Mamata Banerjee as head of the Trinamool? That Jaya Lalita as head of the AIDMK? It is nothing to do with a regional party or a national party. I think as a national party and head of a national party, the onus is even greater because you have the chance to make a pan-national difference. So I think the onus is even greater, and in that their failure to do so is even greater. So I think they're more responsible, not less.
No, therefore then, Shaina NC, have Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi failed to walk the talk? Here is the Prime Minister who claims that he is committed to women's empowerment. At the end of the day, in the last 5 years, you had a full majority, 282 members of your own in the Lok Sabha, more than 330 in all. You could have passed the women's reservation bill. You could have made it a priority. Narendra Modi did not walk the talk, and Sonia Gandhi did not walk the talk. That's the harsh reality. So the national parties have failed. The regional parties have done the women of this country proud.
Well, I agree with you to a certain extent, and a certain extent I don't, because organizationally, of course, the BJP has ensured 33% reservation for posts which sometimes were completely male dominated. Is there a lot more to do? Yes, 100%. I think the national parties have failed the women leaders because they treat us as tokens. I mean, just having a speaker or a defense minister is great, but it's not sufficient. We need to have more representation in parliament. You have other Southeast Asian countries that have much more representation than India. So in that sense, as a woman leader, I'd like to compliment Mamata Banerjee today, because I think she's taken a bold step as a woman leader, and I hope that many more follow. But I don't
Doesn't
think
Mr. Modi
that
do
we
it?
should
My
give false
direct
promises,
question
because
to you,
every
why can't
manifesto
Mr. Modi,
today
what
you heard
Bengal
Rahul
thinks
Gandhi
today,
saying that,
what Bengal thinks today, why can't the BJP do tomorrow? Why doesn't, what stops Mr. Modi? He's the most powerful leader this country has seen. What stops the most powerful country?
We are very hopeful.
You're very hopeful? What stops Mr. Modi?
Rajdeep, it's not as if Mr. Modi has not done anything for Muslim women through triple talaq or to ensure Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. There are lots of things. The list is endless. But having said that, electoral politics is a different ball game. We want more representation. We want more women candidates sitting in parliament, fighting elections, fighting to win, and not just treated as tokens. And I would like to say that we're not going to play the compassion card of saying, oh, look at the injustice done to us. We must play the competency card, because we're a talented lot, and the fact that we are in the public space and in politics, we also want to succeed. So I hope that leaders across the board will speak unequivocally rather than bringing each other down or each other in individual parties down, because this is a matter of us as women across the country and as 50% of the electorate. So we really need to speak up in one voice, and I'd like to compliment people like Tara who are tirelessly working towards this cause.
Tara, therefore, let me give you a final word here. Do you believe that the Narendra Modis and Rahul Gandhis are also seeing the writing on the wall? Let's be clear. 33% reservation for women in panchayats was introduced years ago. And there have been attempts by the likes of Nitish Kumar, by the likes of the DMK, to ensure that there are specific elements in their manifesto for the woman voter. Do you believe now this is a tidal wave that will push political parties to give more tickets to women?
I feel very optimistic about this, Rajdeep. I feel extremely optimistic about this, and I think that the steps that happen in the regional parties are going to put the pressure on other parties as well, including the national parties, to do this. Now, we must remember that while 33% was passed, many at the panchayat level, many states upped it to 50%, right, voluntarily, and this was also peer pressure upon each other that happened. And if you, somebody referred to whether Jayalalitha had done this, she certainly didn't do this, but one thing she did is that women have a 10-year term in Tamil Nadu, right? 10-year term once you're elected as a sarpanch. So you're basically saying, I want to equalize the playing field, I want to level the playing field, give women a greater share of political power of Philip to get there. We mustn't forget that political power is the ultimate, political representation is the ultimate form of equality for women, which is why it is so hard fought. And when a Naveen Patnaik promises 33% tickets, which they don't have to, they can claim reservation is not in place and take the easy road. And when Mamata Banerjee promises 41%, actually declares 41% candidates, again she didn't hide behind it. That is the supreme confidence that they will win the elections with that. Right? Okay. That means you must have that many women leaders. That means you're willing to tell the women voters, why vote for anyone else when I'm willing to give you that space? This will put pressure. If nothing, the elections will put pressure, which is why Shakti is ramping up on the call MPs, calling MLAs, telling them to get their parties to give tickets to women. Right. It will put pressure. That peer pressure is going to work wonders, I think, for women. I'm very optimistic that the number of women in parliament will significantly increase.
That's a nice note on which to end. We've had a program where there's been only 25% reservation for men. I'm the only man, and 3 articulate women have spoken out strongly. If political parties cannot give more tickets to women, then they are a step back behind society, because society clearly wants to hear more women voices in public life. Thank you, Mahua Moitro. All the very best for you in your battle that you start tomorrow in your constituency in Krishnanagar. Shaina NC, I hope you get a ticket one day from the BJP in Maharashtra, and Tara, keep fighting the good fight. Thank you all very much for joining me here at the top of Countdown.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.